What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys are hanging in there in this crazy sensitive market. When you get some data, you get some moves, and then they don't care. They just buy it back up. But we'll see what today brings. We got Albert and House. Good morning to you. We got Anna, Bill, Brad, Chris, Corey, Diane. Good morning to Georgia. We got Jack East in the house. Good morning to you, Jay, Kevin, Lauren, Martina, Mike is Rob, Tim. The squadron is here. The squadron is out. We got all my people out in YouTube land. Mo, why are you still in YouTube land? You, oh, okay. Yeah, you got Slack, right? That's what it is. I was gonna say I thought you were on the other side now, but good morning to you. We got Leonard. Good morning to you as well. All my lurkers in the background of YouTube. That's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. We got some tickers coming in already. So market was kind of wild. I guess right after or right as soon as the futures open, we started to go a little bit green. Then the market kind of came down. China was pulling back a little bit I mean, really an amazing rally that we've had recently. So things like Baba, PDD, Baidu down a little bit today, but for the most part, still having a pretty good week in general. And then today, the big question is today the day? Is today the day that we could close above 571.44? So all essentially all week we had this from I believe this was Thursday. Thursday, this big gap up. Friday, okay, little pullback, a little bit of a retest. We have been closing those VPOCs higher and higher. We just have not gotten past that 571.50. I have 571.44, somewhere in that zone. So it's today the day. We have obviously bulls still buying this market up. All 3 days, we could just be running into that little resistance as a retest, and then we start coming down. So I gotta watch that heavily. We are gapping down slightly depending on the minute that you look at this thing. I think we were about 10 cents down prior. Now we're at about 30 cents down. Look for support today somewhere around 570.63 if that starts to break. Next spot down 569.31. And then we were watching this zone. So we had consumer sentiment numbers come out yesterday. They were horrible. They were not even close. Not even close to the estimate. And the market just took some candles. We got stopped. I got stopped out for an hour on one of the trades I was looking to take. But right at this level, we're like, you know what? This is probably the level that we think this market should hold if the bulls are still here. And then sure enough, we did have one little dip past it, but sure enough, we rallied right back, came back, and the VPOC closed higher. It's almost like nothing happened. So we'll see. We'll see if this is going to be a significant resistance on this market, and then we do have that little bit of a bigger pullback, or if we can start getting those closes past that 571.50, I think then we have a little bit more upside before a pullback comes in. So we'll see. It's going to be an important day, and maybe we just chop around here and we kick the can down the road till tomorrow and see if tomorrow's the day that we could break it. But for right now, just kind of still hanging out. Nothing too crazy. We did have some earnings come out after hours. I know Jay's mentioning Flute. They just had some news, I think, maybe 15 minutes ago, something like that. So still some individual news. And then Nvidia we were watching. We're like, wow, this is a crazy move yesterday. I couldn't find anything of why Nvidia was moving, but turns out Jensen he put out a statement that he's done selling. So he's got his cash out that he wants, and he's gonna hold the rest of the shares. The market was absolutely loving that, and that helped AMD, and maybe that helped some of the rest of the market also kind of hold up a little bit better and recoup. So could probably attribute some of that to some of that positivity yesterday to Nvidia. Qs. Qs we are below yesterday's VPOC, so it's a little bit weaker than the SPY. We do have support not too far away. 484.54 is the first spot that I'm watching. If we break down there, it could get a little bit more to the ugly side. That would take us back to 482.97. The problem with yesterday, and SPY the same thing, but we've already come down. We've already retested all these VPOCs once. I think if we start to get a little bit weaker, we start to get below this VPOC from Thursday. We start to get below even the open from yesterday. We do have those supports to hold us up, but they've already been interacted with, they've already been messed with, and I think it's probably a little bit easier to break through. So I kind of want to see us hold this level for the bulls. I kind of don't want to see us break down this 484.48. Otherwise, again, we're still. I mean, if we go to a weekly chart, we're still pretty much. I mean, we're still looking pretty good on a weekly basis. Nice bullish, almost bullish Gulf of candle, but that was a gap and go. We broke through this kind of downtrend that we have. We just never really pulled back to retest it. So we'll see. And then even on a weekly basis, we probably got 494.69 still ahead of us just to even really come in with a solid double top. So there's still some room. And we are getting those indecision high wave candles. So I think the market is still, in a sense, figuring out. Otherwise, it was a good close yesterday. We closed above that previous VPOC. This one was higher, so I'd still be leaning a little bit more bullish. But watch some of the support levels. If they start to break, we could have a little bit of reversal in the markets. We'll see. All right, let's see what tickers you guys got. If you guys got any additional ones, I got a few already. But if you guys got some more, let me know, and we could definitely pull those up. We got Baidu. So Baidu gapping down, probably a lot of Chinese stocks also gapping down as well, just with the Chinese market pulling back a little bit. Pretty decent amount actually. So anybody who was in Baidu yesterday for this gap up, if you got in yesterday, you're losing on this trade. If you were in anywhere else before, you're still hanging out. I mean, you're still having a really good week, all things considered. That is a gap and go though. Lots of good volume coming in. Probably gets a little bit more of a pullback, I would assume, just trapping anybody that was afraid to take it down here and then say, okay, now's the time. Baidu's going to go. Let's start hopping into Baidu, and they're probably losing. So I would actually look for probably more continuous bearish downside on this one. Not sure where targets want to come in, but I see some levels probably down to like $90.25. So it could give us a little bit of room, just over a dollar 25, $1.50, something like that. And then if we do want to come in and close this full on gap, that takes us to 88.48, which would be a really good target. So maybe would be better is be patient on this one. We're still inside day, even though it is a gap and go to the bear side. Maybe we can come up, retest this a little bit. First resistance, maybe we get to like this 92.47. I think if you get somewhere around there, you have decent risk reward. And then if you want to retest into yesterday's VPOC, 93.39 should be a pretty strong resistance on this one. That's where any of the bulls that got in, which at that high volume zone, those guys would say, okay, let's just get out. Let's lose a little bit less. Let's get out for break even, maybe reverse the position. So the closer we can get to 93.47, the happier I'd be. But there is also a decent resistance somewhere here, 92.47. So maybe as long as this is still inside day, we don't just start gapping down and we're clearing the day completely. Maybe see if at open we get some kind of buying and then look for that short a little bit later. Let's see what else we got. We got Amazon, AMZN. Mo says I'm a slacker. What do you think of Levi? Levi, I think, was moving yesterday. Take a look at that one. KBH did not take a look at that one. So no, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. We'll cover those. All right, we got Amazon is I mean, great location to bounce off of yesterday. If you're going to get a bounce anywhere, pre-market, we are gapping up 4 pennies. Nothing too crazy, but stronger than the rest of the market. We did top yesterday right into a good resistance, and this is a high wave candle. So continue to look for this resistance, 195.38. We did mess with that already, so probably a little bit easier to break through if this market wants to remain bullish. Otherwise, next target probably takes me to this 199.07 zone. So maybe a little bit more room to the upside. Other than that, support from yesterday should come in $93. $93. So, yeah, don't hold for 93. 193, essentially 193.02, but let's see if it wants to pull back. Still inside day though. And it was gapping 4 pennies. Now it's completely flat. So probably give it some time. Obviously, the trend recently is bullish. And then the question is, can we get back up to the highs of yesterday? If you think it could break, you have a really good trade on your hands. Otherwise, you're probably looking to shave a couple shares, 195.40, somewhere in that zone. Let's see, we got FDX, FDX. Watch for that 200 EMA. That's probably where some resistance comes in. So, the fact that we're above this high volume candle is outstanding. That came down, decent support down here. We were looking at that one on this gap down, inside candle, and then yesterday provided a decent move to the bull side. Obviously, I think a lot of people are probably looking for this gap fill. I don't know if they're looking for it. Probably at some point, I think this gap does get filled, which would take us up to like 304.30 at some point. It could be a while for us to get there. I don't know how easy that's going to be to ride all the way up in this market. Who knows? Today, maybe by noon, possibly. Otherwise, realistically, I think we probably could get to 277. Not today, though. I think we have a lot of resistance kind of in the way, and then that 200 is going to be a big one. So, I think if you're trying to play this one for continuation, 270.86, I wouldn't mind if this thing pulls back, look for support, 260.97. Almost would rather buy it off of that. If we get that pullback, and then your stop would be 252.67, and I do like this 246.22 a little bit better, but right now it's just kind of chilling pre-market. It's down 3 pennies, so nothing too crazy, but watch that 200. I think that's gonna hold us up. Stay around there for a day or two, maybe, and then if we want to try to fill that gap, there should be a breakout opportunity up there. Let's see, we got bro, brown and brown. I'm not seeing anything pre-market wise, so it looks like it's pretty flat pre-market so far, unless I'm missing something. Let's scroll out. No. Yeah, don't see anything too crazy with it. Again, for a day trade, nothing too insane. The longer term trend has been fairly bullish. I think we could all agree on that case. You're close to all-time highs, just slightly off of it. Good double bottom off that 50 EMA, so not bad, but immediate resistance 104.28. If you're in this one playing that double bottom, playing that hammer, I don't think you'd be worried. I think you're getting your stops up. You could probably get your stops to somewhere $100.58 and target again, at least immediate target 104.23, and then your bigger target, which probably could hit to 105.70. And then you're just looking for kind of a breakout. They have earnings coming out. We got some time for it, but October 21st, so just be aware of that if you are in on this one. Flute, FLUT. So they had news come out again, probably about 20 minutes ago, but they're getting a pretty sweet gap up. I think they said that they expect, well, I think they're doing a share offering, which I'm not a huge fan of, but they're saying that they think profits will double by 2027. Pretty bold statement. Pretty bold statement, but markets are loving it for right now. I don't know how I want to play this one. We are in no man's land. This is Flutter is the Australian company that owns FanDuel. So, in case you guys don't know Flutter, that's the sports betting app. Sympathy played to it, and DraftKings is moving, but DraftKings would be Sympathy. Probably Penn could be a Sympathy too. But Flutter's in all-time highs. DraftKings maybe has a little bit more of a decent play. You do have a gap and go on this one. I got room at least to 41.60. Maybe 41.79 today. If Flutter goes much higher, and we are at all-time highs on that one, so I've got no resistance on Flute, but I could see probably 43, 42 if DraftKings is a really good day on it. There's obviously some resistance out of it, but that would be my stretch target for today. So it's got some room on it, but in terms of Flute specifically, which is the company that put out the statement, I've got no levels whatsoever. I would assume anybody in this thing, all this buying people are like, hey, maybe now we should take some gains. But we've seen this market; it could do some wild things. So just be careful of that. I don't think Flute has a big short float either, so you're not gonna get that squeeze on it. But I think this one probably pulls back, and then we'll see how DraftKings wants to hold up. But I have DraftKings up there already as kind of sympathy to it. All right, we got Dash, DASH. Is this earnings? No, it's not even earnings. Why is why does Dash look like a sympathy play to Flute? Oh, here we go. We got judge rules against New York law requiring Uber, DoorDash to share data with restaurants. Okay, I guess that's DoorDash outpacing delivery peers with strong order volume. Yeah, I would assume that is more important than the judge ruling they don't have to share data. But regardless, not a gap into all-time highs, but a decent gap indeed. I'm gonna go bullish on this one. Again, lots of buying into this gap though. I might need a little pullback. I might need a high wave candle, something like that to take a break of. I like that it's not at all-time highs. That gives me some levels. Maybe on a really good day, we get to like 153. Tad little bit of resistance right here. I'll probably be cautious, but I kind of like that gap a lot. What kind of candle was yesterday? Yesterday's also a retest gap. Maybe we have to be a little more patient. All right, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I kind of like that gap though. In a longer term breakout, HPE. We didn't buy everything all the time, and then yesterday was a bullish day too. HPE, pretty good gap on this one again. I think targets would take me to about $19.80. So you got about 30 cents before your next resistance. If you can break through that one, you have a really good trade. That's $20.63. This is another one that has been kind of bought up ahead of time. Since resistance is really about 30 cents away, I think a pullback would be fantastic. That would take me to 1930. Not a huge range. This stock doesn't really move. I mean, on occasion you have a big day. This one from the low to high was 1998 to 1883. So I guess that's a big day. Typically, you don't have too big of days in HPE, so your stops would have to be a little bit on the tighter side, I think. We got pins, kind of opening right into resistance with the retest gap. As long as this one doesn't start crossing 3257, I think this one probably ends up fading down, and then you look for some kind of retest around 3170. But man, you guys have been mentioning pins for a little bit now. You guys have been talking about pins for a little bit, and I can see why. Good double bottom. And if all you guys are talking about pins, I'm sure there's a lot of other traders also eyeing down pins as well, but that does look like a really good double bottom. I wish I would have got in somewhere closer to like 20. I mean, I even have my buy order at $30.09. I would appreciate that one again. But for today, probably a fade. Oh, Flute's doing a buyback. I thought they were putting out a share offering. $5 billion buyback and then doubling profits in 2027. Okay. All right, let's take a look real quick at Levi, Levi. So they had a nice little pop yesterday throughout the day. They had a pretty solid day. Closed close to the highs of the day. Let's see where we're gapping for today. Up a penny, so nothing too crazy on that one, but I think you could get some continued momentum on this one. This one might have a higher short float. Finviz, Levi. Let's see if they do. Yeah, short float's 6.2, so that's not a bad short float. You probably could get some more squeezing out of this one. First target though would take us to about $20.01. The next one up takes me to 21.16. Longer term though, I think we can get to 21.78. I don't know if that happens today. So again, it's not usually a huge moving stock, but what was it, 6.2% short float is not bad for a continuation. Yesterday's VPOC, that one came in at. So I guess this would be my only hiccup with this one. VPOC from yesterday is $20.74. We would have to break through that resistance, obviously, if we're going to get that continuation. So let's see if there's a pullback on this one before we day trade this. But I do think longer term we could get a little bit higher. Another dollar on this one's going to take some time. Too late for a swing trade. I feel like I would be chasing. So if we get some kind of a bigger pullback, at least into like $20.11, preferably $19.84, I would much rather be a buyer at those levels. Nothing like a nice S on Levi's. Uh-huh. That almost looks a little inverted head and shoulders too. But not bad, and a pretty wide open gap. If we're gonna close the gap, that would actually take us up to like $23, slightly over. All right, KBH, KBH, pretty decent gap down. This is on earnings. So earnings missed earnings per share by 2 pennies, and then it did come in with $22 million surprise to the higher side on revenue. At all-time highs. The earnings don't seem that bad. I mean, you did miss on the earnings per share. That's kind of a big deal. It's only 2 pennies, nothing too crazy. And the stock was at all-time highs. So I think more or less they're getting clobbered because you're sitting legitimately at all-time highs into earnings. You can't have this color be red. This got to be green, and it's got to be an impressive green. So maybe a little bit price to perfection. To the downside, you're probably looking at your first stop, $81.95, but I would be leaning to the short side. You are also opening at a mini bit of support. So let's see if we could break 82.98. That would get you that little extra push down. And then maybe final target for today, probably about $80.52. And then a wild day would be 79.44. I think a lot of buyers are sitting there too. So um technically a retest gap at support. I don't know. Is it crazy that I want to play this as a fade higher? I think I get honestly, I think I get some decent support resistance. Let's see if I can add this one to the list real quick. I'm going to ignore everything I say, and then I'm going to look bullish. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that too. I would have to have a strong case for me to play this fade that we're probably coming back up to $86 because that would get me good risk reward. But there's another resistance in this thing at 83.93 we could definitely get held up at. I like that support. As long as we stay above it, I'm okay actually trying this one bearish. As soon as that thing breaks down, then I think looking at some of these lower levels, we'll see how that one wants to open. If I can get a big strong move to the down direction, then I'll play that fade. I want to go put sales on this one. No, I don't think so. We're at all-time highs. We're just off of all-time highs. I would need a bigger pullback. If you're gonna go put sales, I don't know what the premium is. I'd want at least a $76 put sale. But we're at all-time highs. Be careful selling puts on companies that just hit all-time highs. Because that's where you could get trapped. I mean, if we come in for a 50% retrace of this last move, that would take you down to like $52 and you're housed on your position. It could potentially take a while. Let me see what else we got. SMMT. Is that on the ticker list, Lucian? Did that come up? Summit Therapeutics. Uh, I'd see if you could get a pullback. 24.57. Maybe bullish there. Stop below here. I don't know. I might be setting this one for this might be like swing numbers as opposed to day trade numbers. But that's probably how I play it for a swing aggressively. Otherwise, we can keep an eye on it. But if it pulls back and it starts actually, yeah, let me get my that alarm's gonna go off right away, I think. It's gonna set an alarm for that one. Let me see. What's the ticker? SMMT. Yeah, that's a list. Upstart. And this says, how are your calls for Nvidia 116 for Friday? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know because I'm a chicken. I didn't know that Jensen wasn't selling anymore. So at the high, pretty much the highs of yesterday, I just closed out the position. So I made a nice gain off of it, but I didn't hold it. I didn't hold it for the extra $4. Nobody told me I was supposed to. But yeah, if I saw the news, but I couldn't find anything on Nvidia why it was pumping. So I figured high of yesterday before, or not high of yesterday, but that first initial high, I was like, okay, that seems like a good spot for a double top. Let me just clear out my position, and then it breaks right through it and just kept going. So yeah, I'm out of the Nvidias. Upstart. It's a nice little gap and go. You got resistance right at 38.78. So a couple more pennies higher, and then I think you get a good push on this one to at least 39.89. So I wouldn't mind that one. That looks decent. Not a lot of volume on this yesterday candle. Uh, Nvidia pumping because of Dell. Did Dell have news? I didn't even see. HP expands AI-based product portfolio to play the stock. Dell Technology officers sell over 4.9 million in the company stock. Man, we would have hit that target too. That's gross. Well, we did hit the 1.2 yesterday on attempt number 2. Um, you're opening into a big resistance here. Why are we gapping up if the company 17 hours ago Dell Technology offers sell over 4.9 million in the company? Is there other news I'm missing? Because looks like we're gapping up a little bit. If the offers are selling, that's not usually market doesn't usually go bullish on that one. We did open down a little bit. I watched that resistance somewhere around 117.67 on Dell. If we could get above it, maybe we go long. Otherwise, this is probably a decent spot to go short. Otherwise, everybody on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. But unfortunately, it's that time where we got to disconnect. I have to. Otherwise, I get yelled at. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But you guys are